What's up, guys? You already know, it's me, Kira, and today we're going to talk about how to have the best mentality for competition. There are a lot of synonyms we can use for mentality here, like attitude, mindset, frame of mind, perspective, or whatever. But basically, this all falls under the broader umbrella of sports psychology. Honing the best possible mindset is absolutely necessary for competition. You guys will probably be most interested in how it helps you improve much faster, or even hinders your improvement if you have a poor mentality, but it can also help you cope with nervousness, tournament pressure, increase your self-confidence, and even help you enjoy playing the game more, which really is why we're all here in the first place. Now, of course, we're gonna focus on Super Smash Bros. Melee, but these concepts can be applied to literally everything, from cooking, to weightlifting, to social skills, and a lot more. This is also why a lot of top players get good at other games so quickly. And if we want to know what the perfect competitive mentality looks like, we should look no further than the current #1 player in the world, Zain. Now, just a quick reminder, the mind-bending puzzle game I'm currently working on, EPIPHANY City, is up on Steam. And the more wishlists we can get, the more the Steam algorithm will actually start to display our game to other people. So please help me out by going to the Steam page and clicking Add to Wishlist. You don't even have to buy it, I don't care, just wishlisting helps us out a ton. And this also helps me continue making content for the channel. So in the end, it's a win-win. I will now break down the 3 biggest aspects of Zain's mentality and give practical tips that you'll be able to apply immediately for each one. So let's get started. To achieve the strongest competitive mentality, the #1 thing you want to focus on is learning. Now, this may come as no surprise to you at all, but many people seem to forget the fact that to become the best in the world, your gameplay must constantly be evolving. It cannot stay the same. Not only that, but focusing on learning actually makes the game more fun. Studies have shown that even when people absolutely hate an activity, if they are asked to try and learn at least one new thing about it, they report enjoying the activity more, and some are even willing to try doing it again in the future. But since this is such a broad topic, how can we narrow it down? Here are some practical tips. Before you even start playing, make it your goal to learn one new thing. I understand that not everyone has time to play Melee all day, like some of the best players, but just improving a bit from last time is both effective and rewarding. Be specific. Saying to yourself, I'm gonna get better with Fox isn't bad, but saying, I'm gonna be more consistent with Wave Shine Up Smash is better. But even better than both of those is saying, I'm gonna practice Wave Shine Up Smash until I can do it 5 times in a row. This is something that both Zain and Leffen have in common. Both of their Smash lessons include action-oriented instructions, which is just another way of saying specific things that you can do that'll help you improve. So here are some very specific examples.
I mean, I feel like to Facial's, oh, CC grab! Dude, I'm telling you, the CC grabs have been huge. Spark and Facial not letting these Falcons get away with jabs.
You see Spark and Captain Facial getting tons of mileage off of crouch cancel grabs. So you decide to focus on CCing any jabs or tilts that your opponent does. Whatever character you play against, you figure out what types of moves are possible to CC grab and what percents you can do it at. Then you look for when your opponent does those moves, and then you try to increase your success rate from 0% to as close to 100% as you can. You're having trouble doing a backwards Wave Shine Up Smash consistently, so you say, I'm gonna do it 3 times in a row by the end of the day. You also decide to keep this up for 1 week. If you're able to do it 3 times in a row on the very first day, then try doing it 4 times in a row, then 5 times in a row, and then do it on different characters, and then after a down air, and so on and so forth. But hey, maybe you're not sure what to work on. Well, that's okay. You can decide to try and find one thing that's giving you trouble. You watch your own replays to find patterns, and you notice that Falco players keep hitting you with a short hop dare off the side platform. From here, you can think about 3 ways you can counter it, or talk to another player to see what they would do, or watch the best player who mains your character and see what they do about it. Then you can figure out what the Falco could do to counter that, and then you can figure out 2 to 3 things you could do to counter their counter. With specific goals like these, you can be efficient and learn a lot even in 15 minutes of practice, rather than just spamming tech skill wildly for 30 minutes. The second aspect you want to focus on is humility. This is simultaneously the one thing that Zain is the best at, and that most smashers will have the most trouble with. But why humility? What's wrong with pride? Isn't it good to take pride in the work you've done or the things you've achieved? Well, sure it is, but that's not the type of pride we're talking about here. What we're talking about is ego. The thing about ego is that players that lack humility are emotionally very fragile and are generally too afraid of their ego getting hurt. The idea that they might not be superior to someone else in a video game is something they can't handle, and so to protect themselves, they decide to pretend that they aren't even trying. But don't think it's just because they're assholes. It's just because they don't know how deserving of love and how valuable they really are as a person. Maybe you can help them with that. Now, let me be very, very clear. It is okay to be sad, angry, or hurt after a loss. Putting lots of time and effort into something is only going to make failure hurt a lot more than if you just started something. But every single player who has ever gotten good has gone through many, many tough times. They rise up to the challenge and push through it, even when it seems impossible. It's the ones who quit and shy away from it that never accomplish their goals. So what does that mean for us? How can we apply something as nebulous as humility to a video game? Here are some very concrete examples that you can start doing today. Number 1, don't switch characters. Switching characters seems harmless, but what it's actually saying is that it's not you who's bad, but your character who's bad. People who lose one game and switch are just trying to protect their pride by saying, oh, it's just the matchup that's the problem. Not only that, but sticking with the same character forces you to learn something. It all circles back to learning. If you don't want to lose again, you have to figure out something new, you have to focus on what's going wrong, and you have to solve your opponent or you'll continue to suffer losses over and over again. Make it a point not to switch off of your main until you've already had a good session of melee. Once you've put the work in, then you can relax and have fun with secondaries and go for some crazy combos. Number 2, don't quit out when you lose. In fact, out of all the people you could play, you want to play people better than you. This is one of the best things you can do to improve, because they'll show you all your weaknesses much better than a lower level player. And again, friendlies aren't about winning or losing. Just focus on one specific situation where you can outplay that better player. Then once you've got that down, add another one, and before you know it, you'll be taking games. Number 3, don't quit out when you win. Learn to 4-stock all the people you're better than. Now, if you've played Slippy Unranked, you know there are tons of people who win one game and quit out, those one-and-doners. But you are not them. You're the one willing to forego short-term pain for a long-term payoff. They can have their win now, because once you pass them, they'll never take a game again. Again, not because you're a better person than them, but just because you know that this isn't where your fulfillment and peace in life is going to come from, so you don't feel the need to compensate by BMing people on Unranked. Not only that, but playing people worse than you makes adapting to their playstyle a lot easier. There are likely only 2 to 3 things that they're doing that are actually giving you trouble, so it's easier to lock those things down and focus on fixing them. One time, me and Homemade Waffles played against Leffen at the Summit House for about an hour, and let me tell you, not once did either of us take a match, and yet Leffen was still getting frustrated because sometimes the games were a little close. What that really meant was that he noticed there were spots where he had weaknesses, spots where we were getting the better of him, and he would not be satisfied with his play until he was consistently 3 or 4 stocking us every game. That's the kind of mentality you need to improve. If Leffen can aim to consistently 4-stock top 50 to 60 players, you can aim to consistently 4-stock some randoms on Slippy. Number 4, don't SD if you're on your last stock. By starting to spam moves or SDing on your last stock, you're subconsciously admitting to yourself that you can't make comebacks. Not only that, but it's a sure sign that you're focusing more on the win rather than on improving your gameplay. So don't quit out. Do the best you can to always make the comeback. 3-stock comebacks are easy and happen all the time in tournament, but if you can't do it in practice, you'll never do it in tourney. And number 5, if you do run into anyone messing around, spamming, quitting out after losing 1 stock, switching characters after every game, or whatever it is that's obviously trying to protect their fragile ego, just quit out and move on. Continuing to waste time with people who are just messing around is going to slow down your improvement and make it less efficient. Your goal is to find players who will stick around and play for at least 30-minute sessions at a time. Both of you will drastically benefit from the earnest, focused effort and have so much more fun in the process. But with all of that being said, know that sometimes people just have to go. Sometimes food just arrived and they gotta eat. Or in my case, my 6-month-old son started crying and I gotta leave halfway through. And your motivation will thank you for it, as you spend less mental energy judging those players and more on focusing on improvement. Just move on, find good practice, and your skill level will skyrocket in no time. The third and last aspect of a strong mentality is ambition. You can even call this drive, motivation, or inspiration, or whatever. Ambition is like nitro. Your car runs primarily on gas, but nitro gives it that kickstart it needs to get going. Here are two main ways that ambition helps you out. Ambition gives you urgency. I mean, how many times have you said, yeah, I'll do the dishes or fold the laundry just to completely ignore it until the next day? I know I've done that a million times. So the best way to put this into practice is to set a goal within a certain time limit. Saying, I'm gonna go 3-2 in tournament is great, but saying, I'm gonna go 3-2 in a tournament within 3 months is better. Saying, I'm gonna figure out 5 new ways to beat Cheek is good, but saying, I'm gonna figure out 5 new ways to beat Cheek by the end of the week is even better. The second way that ambition helps you out is that it really pushes you through those tough moments.
I've wanted to quit Melee more times than I can remember. Like legit over 12 times for sure.
The reason why mentality is so important is because the path to improvement is really tough, and it only gets tougher the higher you go. There are gonna be days where you feel like doing something else, and you don't wanna pick up the controller, but having ambition to get to the next level is what's gonna keep you on track and get you to push through those barriers until you come out the other side as a champion. So to recap, focus on learning. Even if you only learn one new thing every day, over the course of 365 days, you will drastically increase your skill. Practice humility. There are gonna be people taunting you, BMing you, or whatever. But make this the perfect training ground for your mentality practice and achieve monk status, because once you start playing in tournament matches, the dial's gonna get turned up to 11. And lastly, have the ambition to set a goal. The thing about ambition is, there are a lot of people who say they wanna be good. There may be tens of thousands of people watching this video, but the thing is, it's not actually gonna be useful for 99% of them. It might be interesting to learn about, sure, but the ones who actually put these things into practice are the ones that are going to benefit. And so, for your own sake, I hope that you're one of them. If you do all of these things and end up developing a healthy mentality, then you'll have no problem solving all of the mind-blowing puzzles in Epiphany City. And trust me, every beta tester so far has had their mind blown.
Oh, I get it. Whoa, that's clever.
Oh, I wasn't wrong.
And they've had a good laugh or two in the process. So if you're interested, click the link in the description and click add to wishlist so you don't miss the release date discount. Have a great week, everyone, and thanks for watching.